إن الذين فرقوا دينهم وكانوا شيعا لست منهم في شيء إنما أمرهم إلى الله ثم ينبئهم بما كانوا يفعلون.
You believe that the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, had one biological, meaning blood, from Khadija and the Prophet, peace be upon him. Mike is
Yes, obviously the way I believe is the Prophet did only have one biological daughter from Khadija, and he had two other sons who died in infancy. But other than Fatima to Zahra, Sayyidatun Nisa al-Alameen, we believe that the Prophet did not have any other daughters. If they were daughters, there are two explanations to this situation. The first is they could have been daughters of Khadija from a previous marriage. Two, they could have been the daughters of Khadija's sister, and when Khadija's sister died, Khadija took those girls into her home to raise them, being their auntie, and Khadija, and because they lived in the house of Muhammad, people started calling them the daughters of Muhammad. And the third point that they could be what these daughters were from, they could have been basically the women of Mecca used to come to the Prophet's house to learn from Khadija, right? Khadija used to preach to them about the message of Muhammad. Now because these women used to be in Khadija's house all the time, they got labeled as the daughters of Khadija, ergo the daughters of Muhammad. Therefore, it does not highlight the specific deed that the Prophet had 4 daughters. But let's say hypothetically the Prophet did have 4 daughters. I do not have any objection with that. Okay? Just for make it perfectly clear from the beginning, I do not have any objection if the Prophet had 4 daughters. Why? If you analyze the incident of Mubahila, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told the Prophet, وَنِسَاءَنَا, bring your women. And when the Prophet was given the choice of women, he had 9 wives, 4 daughters according to you. So that's like what, 13 women? And out of those 13, he only chose to bring Fatima to Zahra. That proves her elevation above these other women. Then you have another verse in the Quran, which is in chapter 24 verse 42, which says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, قُلْ لَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ أَجْرًا إِلَّا الْمَوَدَّةَ فِي الْقُرْبَى. Say that I do not ask for any reward for bringing you Islam except that you love my nearest of kin. Fatima Salamullah alayha is a part of the nearest of kin. Then obviously you have chapter 33 verse 33, which is إِنَّمَا يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ لَيُذْهِبَ عَنْكُمْ رِجْسَ أَهْلَ الْبَيْتِ وَيُطَهِّرَكُمْ تَطْهِيرًا. Bibi Fatima was also blessed with the perfect purification, for she was the only woman inside the cloak. So now, using all these objectives, we're using Mubahila, using the verse of Mawaddat, and using the verse of Tahira and Tatahir, Bibi Fatima is elevated above all. Why is there no recollection of these other daughters? Why is there no hadith of these other daughters? Why did the Prophet not leave any inheritance for these other daughters? Why is there no hadith in praise of these other daughters? You see hadiths about Fatima. Can you still hear me? Brother, can you hear me? Just type a 1 so I know you can hear me. So so I'm not talking to myself. Alright. There are so many praises in terms of being Fatima. For example, the Prophet said, Fatima bad'atu minni man ardaha faqat ardani. Fatima is a part of me. He who displeases her has displeased me. You know, the Prophet has also said, Fatima ummi abiha. Fatima is like my mother because she looks after me. The Prophet has said, Fatima sayyidatun nisa al-alameen. She is the chief of the women of paradise. Now, there are 4 women in the Quran who have been blessed. The first of them is Mary. She is blessed as the Virgin Mary. Asiya, the wife of Fir'aun, has been blessed. Maryam, Asiya, and Khadija Salamullah alayha has been blessed. And the 4th one is Bibi Fatima to Zahra, who is the best of the women of the world. Okay? No women can surpass Fatima. For a woman who used to walk into a room when her father used to stand up for her exoneration, proves the greatness of Fatima. So my question to you is, if the Prophet did indeed have 4 daughters, why were none of them, number 1, brought to Mubahila? Why weren't they in the cloak? Why are they not in the verse of Mawaddat?
He confirmed in his book, Ilmu wal-Wara bi Ilm al-Huda, chapter 5, the children of the Prophet through Khadija. He mentions the same list, the same daughters. Ali mentions that Uthman is married to his daughters. All of the classical Shia scholars are mentioning that. So do you, and Allah says, Banatuka.
We honestly don't mind. on the basis that our belief is that Fatima was the best of the women of the world. How? And then I gave you many examples which you still have not yet responded to. I said if the Prophet had 4 daughters, why did Fatima go to Mubahila by herself when Allah said in the Quran, وَنِسَاءَنَا, bring your women? Why was no wives taken? Alright, fair enough. So, okay, it is biological. Let's say it is biological. I'm saying, for the sake of argument, let's say I agree with you, okay? They are the Prophet's blood daughters. Why were they not taken to Mubahila when God said, وَنِسَاءَنَا, right? Which is women. At the same time, why was no wife taken? In the event of 33, the answer, oh yeah, no problem, let me just rephrase that to 2 more points. The second point is, the verse of Tathir was revealed. Why was Fatima the only one that was inside the cloak? Right? And then you mentioned the Uthman argument, that Uthman had 2 daughters from the Prophet. Now, since you're an Ahl Sunnah wal Jamaat member, I've got something for you. Because you believe that Bukhari and Muslim are the 2 Sahih books, for example. I've got a hadith from Sahih Muslim which states, where is it? Sahih Muslim, chapter of the virtues of companions, section of virtues of Ali, Arabic, volume 4, page 1871, tradition number 32, that Muawiyah said to Sa'ad ibn Abi Waqqas, why do you not curse Ali ibn Abi Talib from the pulpits? He replied, don't you remember that the Prophet said 3 things about Ali that nobody else will have? What were these 3 things? They are that he got given the flag at the Battle of Khaybar. For the Prophet said, tomorrow that I will give the flag tomorrow to a person who will bring us victory, who will be a man. And the second virtue that Imam Ali holds that nobody else in the world holds is that while the Prophet was making bonds of brotherhood in Medina, he elected Ali as his brother, and whereas he elected other people with other people. And the third virtue of Imam Ali in Sahih Muslim is the Prophet said, Ya Ali, you are my only son-in-law. You are my only son-in-law. So that means, how can Uthman be a son-in-law of the Prophet when the Prophet is saying, Ali, you're my only one, and Sa'ad ibn Abi Waqqas is saying that I will not curse Ali because Ali has a merit of being the only son-in-law of the Prophet, and nobody else has been given this virtue because he said these 3 things nobody else has got, only Ali has got these 3 things. So marrying a daughter of the Prophet is the only thing that only Ali has been blessed with. So inshallah, mic is yours. That's good. Yeah, I get that, but you don't have to spend so long on the mic. I mean, I nearly fell asleep. You know, obviously I've been debating with you for almost about an hour, discussing with you for almost about an hour now, and obviously I'm sure you've got things to do, and I've got things to do as well, so we can't just sit here and just waste time. Now, I asked you for 1 hadith, just 1 or 2 hadiths, not 15, not 20, not 30, not 50, not 100, 2 or 3. Alright, and you showed me them, so okay, point proven. Okay, so now, I asked you to show me the hadiths of Sunni and Shia sources about the daughters, and you did, okay? You proved to me that the Prophet was at the funeral, you proved that Zainab had a daughter, you proved that the other daughters, well, one of them was being looked after by Uthman in the Battle of Badr, and his virtue for looking after her is the same as the people who died in the battle or those who fought in the battle. Okay, so these are virtues. But then again, Fatima Salamullah Alayha is elevated above the other daughters. Do you agree with that, yes or no? Give me a 1 if you agree, or 2 if you don't. Sunnah. 1 and a 2. See, you are slow at replying. So, alright, my question is, do you agree that Lady Fatima Zahra is elevated above the other 3 daughters? Well then, what are we debating? Because I told you from the beginning, I said, even if the Prophet did have 4 daughters, it doesn't make a difference to me. It really doesn't matter. Right? There are more virtues of Fatima. There are more greatness of Fatima. She was taken to Mubahila. Okay, fair enough, the other daughters weren't there. But Aisha was there, she wasn't taken, neither was Hafsa. Okay? Aisha and Hafsa were not allowed in the cloak at the time of the ayat of Tathir. Then the daughters and Fatima and the others are not included. Only Fatima is included in the verse of Mawaddat. قُلْ لَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ أَجْرًا إِلَّا الْمَوَدَّةَ فِي الْقُرْبَى. So if we agree to agree that Fatima is the best of the women of the worlds, right? If Fatima is the best of the women of the worlds, and she is better than the wives, she is better than the other daughters, do you agree with that? So give me a 1 if you agree with that. No, I'm not going to waste my time or take my time. I'm not going to do any of it, because the way I see it, this topic is closed. If you agree that Fatima is the best woman in the world, for we call her Sayyidatun Nisa al-Alameen, then there's nothing to debate about. My point is proven. You can give the Prophet 100 daughters. You know, as long as Fatima stays elevated above them, we Shia have no objections with this. Okay? So the Prophet can have 1, the Prophet can have 50, the Prophet can have 1,000,000 daughters. It does not make a difference, as long as Fatima is elevated above them all. Now just type 1 or 2. Do you agree that Fatima is the best woman in the world? Do you agree with that or no? Simple question is 1 or 2. You don't need the mic for this. No, you don't need the mic for this. It's a simple question. No, bruv, you take the mic, you don't get off. You stay on the mic for hours and hours and hours. I nearly fell asleep. Seriously, man, look, I don't hog the mic. This is not even my room, right? I don't hog the mic. I take the mic, I spend as much time as I need to make my point or answer my question, and then I leave it. Okay, but you don't do that. You stay on the mic, drifting from topic to topic. Well, I never doubted you, and I never bounced you. In fact, I brought you back in the room, remember? I allowed you to come back in the room when I took you off the block list. But anyway, you want to talk about not diverting subjects. I asked you to show me the virtues of the other daughters, and you start telling me, oh, by the way, Imam Ali angered Fatima, and therefore the Prophet said, Fatima badatu minni. That's not even a point of discussion. Where the hell did that come from? We're discussing the Prophet and his daughters and the virtues of his other daughters, not the daughters of Fatima and how she reacted with her married life with Ali. Fatima and Ali, it's a different issue. Okay, you've had the mic for about what, 2 minutes, and you still haven't answered my question. My simple question was, do you believe Fatima is the best woman of the world? And you haven't answered that simple question. You wanted the mic to answer that question, yet you were unable to answer it. It's a simple question. Is Fatima the best woman in the world? Is she Sayyidatun Nisa al-Alameen? Yes or no? She was given a perfect purification in Qisa. She was taken to Mubahila. We have to love her according to Mawaddat. You know, she's a part of the Al of Muhammad, whom we bless in our namaz, in our prayer. Yet you couldn't even answer the simplest of questions. I mean, even a little baby can answer this question. You give me a 3-year-old Shia kid and say to him, is Fatima the best woman of the world? She'll say yes. Is she Sayyidatun Nisa al-Alameen? They'll say yes. But you call me stupid. Your head has got to be so thick and full of so much rubbish that you're unable to answer a simple question such as, is Fatima the best woman of all women in this world, present, past and future? And you can't even answer that question. So what's the point? You're a waste of time. What was the point, okay? I mean, according to Aisha, you admitted that Aisha messed up, which is, I won. And I told you if the Prophet's got more than 1 daughter, so what? Does it raise their virtues above Fatima? No. And you agreed that Fatima was better than the other daughters. So 2 points of argument, and I've won them both. So there's only 1 point of argument left, and that is Fatima the best of all of the women all over the world? But you couldn't even answer that question, could you? So that's it, mic free, I'm done. And by the way, I recorded all this debate, and I'm going to post the whole debate onto Facebook and YouTube right now. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.